With Simon and Michelle over at FIIG. Warm welcome to you. Are we likely to see more of this? And if so, are you looking at REITs? Are you looking more broadly? Where's the action likely to come from?
Look, we've seen a lot of issuance into the Eurozone from Aussie companies recently, not only investment grade, but even the high yield space as well. Very low rates over there, obviously, and further stimulus expected from the ECB. So big appetite for Aussie issuers there too. So, we've seen some big volume there from the banks through to some of the corporate Stockland, as you mentioned. I'd expect that to continue as long as those rates stay where they are.
It's amazing that you look at the months of September and October and the roll call of Australian corporates, Wesfarmers, Transurban, Origin, Horizon, Melbourne Airport, now Stockland, combined about €250 million raised. Go back to 2010 and 11, just 3.7 bill across that whole span. I mean, so the environment, the thinking when it comes to whether this is a competitive landscape has changed immeasurably.
Look, very much so, and I think the other thing you've got to realise is that there's a lot of debt out there that was issued through the crisis at quite high levels, quite high yields. So it also is about refinancing, replacing some of that debt with, through the Eurozone, much lower costs to those companies. So there's a lot of that replacement going on. I'd expect that to continue as people try to lower their debt costs. This
idea of a green Euro bond, what are the hallmarks of that?
Yeah, we've seen this start to emerge this year, some green issuance. I think the World Bank has done some green issuance as well. So, there is certainly an appetite for this through a lot of the funds, through the more sustainable funds, renewable energy, things like that, plays in very well. A lot of those funds now will have a mandated level of exposure that is expected to meet an ethical or green screen. So we're certainly seeing more demand through, pension funds, here in Australia, superannuation funds and the like.
Simon, in the last few hours, as we eye the US session and the performance of USTs, this whole confirmation of Ebola in New York, we've seen the Dow futures under pressure. Inevitably, what's it going to do to yields tonight?
Yeah, look, it's interesting. We have had quite a positive sentiment over the last couple of days, and so we've seen a lot of sell-off of bonds as yields drift higher. That's stopped now, and we've actually seen them drift off about 3 points in the US, 5-year, only a couple of points in the 30-year. Just as people digest this news about this doctor in New York that appears to have the Ebola virus and work through the consequences that might lead to. So people have just taken the foot off the accelerator a little bit, and we've seen a bit of a pullback. Look, I think as we get more news that, people will digest that, and, I don't think it'll have a major impact on markets.
So nothing, no spikes at the front or at the longer end. Where would it show through primarily tonight?
Look, I think, it will depend on the level of information come through. I think initially it's just the headline hits and people go, well, hang on a sec, let's just pull back and wait to get a bit more data out of this. I think the US has got this well managed. So, if anything, it's just going to perhaps put a bit of a pause on movements, maybe push them into next week. But at this stage, looking at the yield curve, it's really just seen a little bit of a hit of the pause button at this stage.
Okay, as someone said, to fuel a bond market rally, we need bad news. Doesn't sound from what you've said as if it's bad enough. Anyway, Simon, have a nice weekend.
You too, Carson.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.